Okay, so a lot of you wanted to know why I reviewed Scaremaster before this episode, even though this one came out first, and that's actually very easy, because they got the order wrong. Christmas comes after Halloween. Duh. I'd ask what you people would do without me, but actually most of you who asked also did guess that that was the reason, so you win this round, I guess. Okay, so it's been out a couple weeks, but from a quick first and a fan second, here's the second opinion. Now this is the second episode of writer Nick Confalone after Party Pooped, and you might remember that I was not very impressed with him after that. But against the odds, he has defied my expectations and made a worthy holiday episode. Sort of. But we'll start with the good stuff. For one, Mr. Confalone reins himself in this time and first lays the groundwork for his story, instead of just trying to undermine it with sophomoric humor. He knows he's got a plot that we want to be invested in, and he goes out of his way to make sure we can be. To set the stage for the holiday, he starts off with a sweet little in-the-life moment with Twilight and Spike, and even shows us one of their personal traditions, causing Applejack to hint at her problem to come. Then he segues to the main plot, with her and Pinkie Pie, building us up for the story of their two possibly related families spending Hearthswarming Eve together. And from there he does a pretty good job introducing us to the new characters, and giving them a pretty fun dynamic with the ones we already know. The Pie family's been seen only in flashbacks for the past 4.5 seasons, where they were basically just an Amish family, but it's very clear within their first few moments in this episode that we haven't met them yet. Like, if you thought Maud was the rockiest rock in the Rock family, and that's why they made her up just a few episodes before they had to introduce us to one of Pinkie's sisters, you haven't met their sister Limestone.
Ma and Pa may own this rock farm, but I keep it running. Cross me and...
Aye, aye, Captain Grumpy. No one's gonna mess with your precious mind.
Or Holder's Boulder.
And then there's Marble Pie, who's kind of like Fluttershy on... Shyroids.
My baby sister who's only a few minutes younger than me, but she'll always be a baby to me.
Wait, Pinkie's a twin? Why did we go 4.5 seasons without knowing that? And why is it not getting a bigger reaction? In fact, also to Mr. Confalone's credit, there are a lot of little touches like that here. Even though he's not just doing whatever he wants, he doesn't forget the creativity that he managed to show last time in spite of himself. His callbacks to the last Hearthswarming episode, and even the rehash of it, both speak to going the extra mile, and are both pretty enjoyable, as are some of the character interactions. For example, Maud using her knowledge of rocks to deduce Sherlock Holmes style that Applejack went sledding the day before and then to bond with Applebloom were both great ways to show off that stoic charm of hers. Actually, I was kind of caught off guard by how much the apples and the pies aren't each other's kind of ponies. You'd think a bunch of hardworking rock farmers would have a lot more in common with the Apple family than Pinkie Pie herself, but then you remember that while the apples are hardworking and traditional, they like to play just as hard as they work. And that means letting their hair down, being loose and carefree when they do it. The Pies are more like me. They work hard, but they also hold themselves to a certain standard of dignity and conduct. They never let things get too messy or unrefined.
I will be internet famous, no matter how shameless are my videos of my pet fish picking its nose that I will force you to see before I make the move to reality TV.
Hey, that took a very long time to choreograph, thank you. So yeah, the apples are more like right in between Pinkie and the rest of the pies, and some of the things they have in common with her family, like how dead set in their ways they both are, Applejack in particular, do the opposite of bring them closer together. From there, the story almost writes itself. Or does it? Because unfortunately, that's where the issues I have come in. See, last time, Mr. Confalone's unfunny comedy and obnoxious characters kinda stole the show, but actually, I think his real weakness is as a storyteller. Like how he segues from one plot point to another, and how he plays his character motivations off each other. For example, yes, the Yaks and Party Pooped were painful jerks, but that's not in and of itself the reason they don't work. It's because of how the episode incorporates that into the story. It's that the ponies are supposed to be placing such a high value on befriending them and trying to cater to them, just wondering how they can stop messing it up for the Yaks. Nobody with common sense thinks it's so important to befriend a group so barbaric that they'll thuggishly bully you, or even declare war, because of nitpicks with how you're rolling out the welcome mat. And meanwhile, the episode keeps trying to make it look like it's about Pinkie Pie, while putting all its focus on gags about the Yaks being thugs or Twilight being a nervous wreck, until the halfway point, where it resorts to giving Pinkie an entirely separate subplot that goes all over the place just for a vague, trivial connection to the solution. He just doesn't have a deft or subtle hand in how he weaves these things together, and it's still true here. For example, the scene where he first establishes the apple's not ticking to how the pies celebrate.
What about hot rolls? And mulled cider? And double-baked pot pie?
What about 6-layer bean dip? Dinner's dinner. Am I right or am I right?
You know what? This is what we were expecting. Right, every pony?
Yeah, remember when you sat down at the dinner table of the family that you wanted to befriend and went, "Where's the real food?" And then when you got rejected so suddenly went, "Oh, actually this is what we wanted, right everybody?" Yeah, and that's not the only moment like that. Then it seems like what he's going for is Applejack thinking she needs to help the two families have a better time together with her quote-unquote better traditions, not realizing that both parties are warming up to each other in spite of themselves, and that's fine, but, well, just look at this.
Picture this. Both our families, opening presents, raising the flag.
Picturing it? Loving it? Good night, every pony!
Good night, Pinkie Pie. We gotta do something, y'all. Pinkie Pie's family never had a real heartwarming.
Wait, what? Did you change your mind halfway through writing the script and then forget to go back and change the first part? I mean, 1 minute Applejack's successfully convincing Pinkie that the apple traditions would be better, and the next she's trying to plan something behind her back? And narcissistically telling herself that the Pies just don't see how much worse their traditions are? I mean, the two don't connect. Why are neither of them still trying to plan something if they both agree it's a good idea? Did Pinkie just hit her head 2 minutes later and forget the whole thing? Because, rest assured, if you hadn't just dropped that, wherever it led probably would have been a lot less force than what you went with.
What happened to my farm? Heartwarming apple style. We've been doing everything your way. I thought we could mix it up a bit.
Well, the thing is, you're a guest on their property, dingbat. You ask for permission if you want to change something. They get to decide what they do in their house on their holiday. But what's really cringeworthy is that she keeps insisting on this, even as it's causing a rift between Pinkie and her family, while saying that she didn't mean to cause any problems. I mean, it's like if I went, "Here, have a banana." "Ew, no, I'm allergic. I break out if I even touch them. No!" Ooh, sorry, I didn't mean to cause a problem there, but I really think you'll feel better if you try it. Come on. Here comes the airplane. I mean, it's like, we want Applejack to learn a lesson, but there's no way she needs to learn it so bad that she'd cause some serious harm all on her own. Let's just go for it. At least until we can claim it's an excuse for a nonsensical, over-the-top disaster.
You planted your pole on a fault line.
Well, I can't say Applejack didn't deserve it, unlikely as it was.
Your family, my family, they almost think I'm such a nincompoop.
Aw, no one thinks that.
Ooh, I do!
No pony.
Me, I do! Okay, but that and the next scene, where Applejack starts to realize that she likes some of the Pie's traditions, actually turn out pretty strong. It can't prevent the payoff from feeling a little bit rushed, but it's enough so that Applejack's 11th hour realization, heartfelt speech, and successful second chance actually all feel warranted. Granted, there are still some legitimate distractions, like Applejack still not acknowledging that the Pies don't have to change their traditions at all if they don't want to, and Granny Smith knowing the backstory of Holder's Boulder for no reason. But the biggest, most distracting thing of all, is why they need everyone old and young to help move Holder's Boulder when they have Maud Pie and Big Mac together. Those two should be able to move the farm down into the quarry to be next to the boulder if need be. But distractions or no, it's still a pretty charming resolution, especially with moments like Apple Bloom bonding with Maud or Big Mac and Marble. And let's not forget the classic Maud Pie hearth-warming carols.
They're all about rocks.
So yeah, while Nick Confalone hasn't gotten me off his back just yet, he does score a decent episode here. Some of you may say that I should cut him a break after what I said about Scott Cinnabon hitting his stride, but I don't know about that. Cause actually, while Cinnabon's debut in Some Pony to Watch Over Me was just as unruly, even there, you did get the sense that he knew what he was doing, as in what effect he was going for and how to get it. There were other factors that he maybe should have taken into account, but I didn't have too much trouble believing it when his episodes started getting really good. Mr. Confalone seems like he's either not as good a writer, or he doesn't care as much about the technicals. But there is a nice sense of enthusiasm and creativity to what he does, and he might have potential. And while the definitive heartwarming episode still has yet to be made, he definitely helped build on the concept here. So, okay, point for him this time. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, send it to the families you don't want to share your holidays with. And if you'd like to watch another video in this series, click the link on the right. Otherwise, just check the description for more links, and I'll see you next time.